You're listening to The Uncooked Rice Show, a podcast where young Asian Americans talk about being young, Asian, and North American. I'm your host, Jesse Xie, an 18-year-old Chinese kid who's not a doctor, not a lawyer, and definitely not an engineer, talking to other young Asian Americans who would probably make my parents proud. Together, let's explore their successes, their struggles, and ultimately, their journey leaving the bamboo forest. Hey, welcome back to The Uncooked Rice Show. My name is Jesse Xie, and today we're doing things a little bit differently. So today I'm with Connie. She's one of my newer friends that I've made in Ottawa, and today we're going to talk about a few things that's been on my mind. So Connie, how have you been doing?
I've been doing good.
That's good. So essentially, a few days ago, right? A friend texted me, and then we got into talking for a bit, and essentially, they started explaining to me how they didn't feel like they felt like they were my friend, right?
Oh,
And so they listed a few reasons and a few factors. And so some of the factors was that, I didn't tell them about the personal projects that I was working on, and I didn't really ask them for input. And then
oh.
a few other factors was like, sometimes I just feel like you don't value my input, or like I feel like you pick and choose who you want to talk to from time to time. So, and I understand their points, but I was just wondering, is that fair? Because I don't naturally assume that they'd be interested in talking about stuff like what do I think of that, right? Like, what would you do if somebody texted you they didn't feel like they were your friend because you were keeping them out of the loop, or like they felt like you were treating them differently compared to your other friends?
That's actually tough because I think I've more often felt like I've been in your friend's position.
Okay. Great, you can provide that perspective for me then.
Okay, I think it comes down. Okay, do you value this friend? Like, I'm assuming you do.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, otherwise, if you weren't, I'm assuming you wouldn't be going on a podcast to air out your dirty laundry like this.
What do you mean dirty laundry?
Oh, okay, I'm just saying. Okay, so I think I've learned more and more that I like for me and my friendships, I like signs of affirmation. So either words, like either we talk a lot and we talk about close things, or we're just physically there for each other
Right.
and just around each other a lot. So I kind of need that reassurance on my end, partly
Okay.
because yeah, so like I maybe it's to do with insecurities, maybe it's just I prefer like that kind of contact with people. So that's how I reassure myself that we are still friends. But I have other friends who don't operate like that. I have other friends who we might not talk for months, and I just kind of have to, or not months, but we might not keep as close contact as I'd like. And I
Mhm.
have to reassure myself, hey, no, don't take this personally. It's not you. It's just how they roll.
Right.
So yeah, I guess it's just how each of us decides to express our friendships, and I have called out certain people sometimes where I try and be understanding of how they are, but sometimes like my feelings are valid too, right? Like how I
Yeah.
shouldn't have to accommodate them like the entire time, and I'm sure they'd want to know if I'm having an issue with what's going on here. So I guess it's the matter of finding out, getting an idea of what the other person needs and expects, and working to a compromise.
Yeah, and I just want to preface this by saying I don't understand the full story, and I don't think I can explain the full story in like a 30-minute to 45-minute podcast, right? So take everything I say with a grain of salt.
Yeah,
But
as most things I hear from you.
what? Okay, cool. Um, but some of the things that they said was they explained to me how sometimes I only talk to them uh, when I sort of need something from them, right? And I was looking through their messages, like the messages I had and conversations I had with them. Um, yes, it's true, but I guess the way I operate and or the way I see friendships is, I don't like the whole idea of it's like if I need something, I'm gonna do small talk and be like, hey, how's it going? How's your day been? Oh, and then wait for their
Oh
reply.
yeah.
Like, oh, hey, by the way, can you do this for me or that? See, I don't like that, right? I find
Wait, isn't that exactly how you asked me to do this podcast? Did
no.
you start by like asking if I was watching Hamilton or something?
That's not true. I was actually genuinely no, I asked you if you're watching what's that? That was not true at all.
Okay, no, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I know. But
It was
yes, continue.
genuine.
Continue. I'm not. I kid.
You better fucking kid, Jesus. God, you're gonna call me on my own fucking podcast? What is this?
Yay!
But yeah, now I'm looking
Exposed.
at the conversations that
A
we have. I'm looking at
1 hour
the
special.
uh, no, here's the thing. No, no, I'm reading our good conversation right now. I asked you if you played League or any other game, online games.
Proceeded
You're
to attack me. You proceeded to judge my personal lifestyle choices.
that's not true.
Wait, you should not be leading this podcast. Wait a second.
And then hey, you brought up my podcast, okay? And then I was like, you know what? Maybe I should invite Connie because she's a nice friend and I like her, right? And so like, I did. This is you. Wow, don't you?
Yeah, sure. This isn't calculated. Okay.
Okay, but like back to what I was saying, right? Like,
Yes, yeah.
I was looking up the conversations that I had with my friend, and I was like, yeah, I guess it could be seen that way. But like, my question to you, like, how do you view friendships? Like, what are friendships to you?
Friendships to me, I think, are conversations. I know that's not with everyone,
Hmm.
but for me, that's what it is. I know that some people maybe they get a lot of gifts for the other person, or you hang out a lot.
Yeah,
And yeah, I guess yeah, for me it's I really crave like the emotional fulfillment and the satisfaction of a good conversation. And it can be about really dumb yeah, it can be about really dumb things. It can be about your personal life, or it can be about just something that happened in your day that you really want to share. But for me I really value just talking, and it's preferable in person, and but it can be done online too. Just like I guess it updates you on how they are and like what vibes they're giving off as a person at the moment. But also, I just think you can get some really good, like really interesting times with a conversation and learn a lot about them, whether it's an old or new friend.
right. Okay. I mean, like, would you say that like there are different types of friendships for everyone, and like everyone sort of has a friend for a different reason?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess so. It's not like every single friend I have is like I'm like ride or die, or like I need to be speaking to them all the time. Like every person's dynamic is different. But with my closest friends, do I have noticed that I do tend to like want to hear what they have to say, and I'll like facilitate meetings just so we have that chance for a conversation. That's what I've noticed with my friends. Like we might be doing different things. It's obviously not the same, but still conversations is an important element for me and the people that I'm the closest to.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like to me, it's like I see friendships as like a mutual understanding between two people, right? Or like a mutual bond. Um, so to me, it's like like I guess in a like to in at risk of sounding cold and calculated, like I see friendships as like two people who have who can do who can benefit from each other. Just having that mutual understanding of like, oh, if you need something, I will provide for you. If you want me to provide something for you, I will, right? So this, like, I don't know, to you, as because you've just explained that you are a needy bitch. Like, does that seem cold and calculating to you?
Exposing me at like minute 3. Have some shame. Uh I guess it's different for me, I guess, cuz I mean, I guess I know that I could turn to my friends if I guess what I would need from my friend is like emotional support if I'm feeling down, or just like an emotional sponge to vent at if I'm feeling angry, or just someone I want to like talk about my interests with and stuff. So I guess I mean, it's not like there isn't a mutual transaction going on,
Yeah,
but maybe it's naive that I still don't see it that way, because besides that emotional fluffy shit, like I can't like what am I going to provide them from Ottawa? Like I can't provide them anything tangible. It's the emotional connection, I suppose. And I think that's a fair transaction. I don't think saying that you exchange soft words and conversation is too gold diggery of a thing to say. But actually, question for you. So, if you see friends, I guess, as having like that, you'll be able to benefit from each other. Like, how do you like? What's the relationship between you and your closest friends? Like, what's the dynamic? It's not like you guys need everything from
My
each other all the time. So,
No, of course not, but, like, it's like it's there's a because of my closest friends are the ones I've known for a long time, right? Like, I've known them since some of them since elementary school, right?
yeah.
Most of them from, like, the start of high school, like, I've known them for years now, and so, I guess, uh, the reason why I'm still friends with them is because we have a mutual understanding and sort of a bond and loyalty that's been established throughout years of our friendship. So, like,
Mhm.
your question was, like, what do I sort of get from them, benefit from them? Is that sort of your question?
Or I guess more of like, what does your dynamic look like on a day-to-day basis,
Yeah,
or when you hang out with them?
well, we all have different interests. Well, me compared to them, we have different interests. Like I do stuff like work on
So you're the
personal
hipster.
projects.
You're the hipster. You
I
like,
would say hipster. I just more
you know,
ambitious. Try hard is more like it. I mean, what kind of 18-year-old thinks he can start his own podcast, right? I mean, you got to be some
are
sort of.
you or are you not emo? Be honest. Be honest.
I was. Anyways, so like what we do is like we play games to each other every day, like especially now that we're stuck in summer. So like we talk on Discord, we talk about stuff, we just play games with each other and we bond through that, right? So that's our dynamic. Um
Okay.
in terms of like what I do and what I sort of our friendship entails is like if I have a question or like because each of them I know have their own specialities, right? Like a lot of them are good with videography, a lot of them are good with graphic design. So like if I have questions, I ask them about that. And
And if they ever want to sound like a sarcastic ass, they like turn to you, right?
exactly. Yeah, 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 yeah. But I guess it's just like the dynamic has been established through years of experience. I guess is just what I'm trying to say. Um, but
So yeah.
yeah, no, go on.
I was just wondering, so was the friend of yours one of these like long timer, like since elementary friends, or was it someone more recent?
I've known them since. Well, there's actually two of them that share the same issue. Um,
Oh,
but I've known them. I've known one of them since elementary school. The other one I met in high school. But like, they're not. We don't talk on a daily basis. Um, and we've only ever talked for about certain things, right? So like I wouldn't ever say that I'm as close with them as I am with my close friends who I talk to day, right? Um, does that answer your
ah.
question?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, are you using this podcast to like figure out your problems, your life's problems?
No,
Just curious.
life. I'm just talking
No?
about life problems because I this podcast is about young Gen Z Asians, right? And like I say this because like friendships nowadays are so weird, especially for like Gen Z kids, right? Like I don't know why.
Really?
There's like more people like you can define friendships in so many different ways, and then so many different people see friendships differently. And then I feel like there's a lot more drama to it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you know what? That's true. Yeah, I'll give you that one.
Is
I
that fair
think
to say?
no, I think we're just pettier as a generation, and also with our like I don't want to sound like a back in my day, but I think the ease of communication with technology, it makes people less inclined to actually, I guess, hang out with friends, or just like go out of the way to physically be there in person, because you can get the same thing from just texting or whatever, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, I guess it makes things easier, but I think it does make things a little less substantive because it is that easy, because it is that convenient. So yeah, I got what you mean.
And also like for me, I feel like we talked a bit about this before the recording, but I feel like I grew up pretty independent, right? And my parents, because
Hmm.
we moved here together, like we don't have much family here, so we were most of the time we were pretty by ourselves. Like I didn't have a lot of family friends. A lot of the time we just kept to ourselves. So I didn't have that experience growing up of like interacting or being an extrovert or like interact socializing, right? I didn't really get to see my
Hmm.
parents socialize that often. So like I've grown being used to being alone or like not being like all I guess emotional. And I don't know if it's the same for most Asian families or like most families in general, but like my parents were pretty well conserved with their emotions. Like as like to risk sounding stereotypical, like their like sort of emotional acts would be like to bring me fruit. Yeah.
Oh, that is very subtle Asian traits. I've seen that all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will say that I think like I recognize the things that you're saying. Like I know other friends who feel the same way that a lot of my friends are really surprised at the relationship I have with my family and that we're really close.
Okay.
And I don't mean I'm not saying that like people who don't outwardly express that affection aren't close. Like it's everyone is different. But
Yeah.
like we'll visibly we joke around with each other a lot. We'll talk with each other a lot. And I don't tell my parents everything, but like a lot of my Asian friends were super surprised when I tell them when I'd be dating someone that my parents would find out within a month because I didn't feel the need to hide it, whereas my other friends would just go on dating for months, for even like over a year without their parents knowing.
Right.
So like I know that I think that actually helped a lot, or is indicative of how I turned out the way I did, I suppose. And I see how your dynamic with your family and how you were brought up affects you and your friendships too.
Yeah, because like I didn't have that close of a friendship with my family compared to my friends, right? Like my friends, because they were all like roughly third, fourth, second, or like third generation kids whose parents have already been here for a very long while, so they're very accustomed to the Western culture. Um,
Mm,
it's like they were pretty close with their kids, right? Like they talked to day to day, or they talk about their personal life. I didn't have that relationship with my parents, right? And I always felt like the
yeah.
need to sort of hide, stuff like who I was dating, what I was doing, um, for one reason or the other, right? Some of the reasons because I didn't feel like they would care, or like I didn't want to risk sounding like disappointing them. So I grew up with that mindset, right?
Would you want that to change, I guess, or are
Well,
you just okay with that now, or
I I guess I've gotten used to it. Like I
mm,
think that's the simplest way to explain the situation. Like I've gotten used to it. It is what it is. But I mean, I don't know. Like I'm slowly getting close to them as I grow, like as I mature, and I think
okay?
quite honestly, as my parents mature too. Um,
Oh,
yeah,
oh yeah, no, that's true. Like there is definitely a difference between my parents 10 years ago and my parents now. So
right, yeah.
yeah.
Are you a for only child?
No, I have two siblings. Does that
Right.
shock you?
No, no, I remember because I saw you guys post a singing video. I think
Oh no.
that was not bad. You have a good voice. I have to admit.
Thank you, thank you. But yeah, like a lot of people I've been told. I don't mean to brag, but I've been told that people are jealous of my relationship with my siblings because we're pretty close, and because we're all our own variation of loud and a little obnoxious, it works out to be entertaining for third party observers if you find us tolerable.
Oh, so okay, so the reason why I've always found you obnoxious is because you weren't with your siblings. Is that it?
Yeah, I will leave right now. I will leave right now.
Kidding.
Okay?
Only jokes. Only jokes. No, but
You're
like
gonna yeah,
yeah, like having a good relationship with your siblings and your family just in general is like
kids, are you
surprising to
hiding something?
what?
Oh no, nothing. But actually I think I have to thank my parents for that, I suppose, because in the beginning, like when we were all young,
Mhm.
we were not. Yeah, no, we did not get along. I mean, I got along with I have an older sister, younger brother. I got along with my sister pretty well, but even since she was older, I found her kind of scary. My sister, she liked me. I was her younger sister, but she found me annoying. My brother and sister hated each other. It was, or found each other really annoying. I'd get along with my brother a little bit, but yeah, no, it wasn't always rainbows and good times, and now it's still not rainbows and good times. But
Well,
as we grew up, I think we all just kind of mellowed out
mhm.
and realized, hey, maybe we should cut each other a bit more slack. I think we grew up to be like interesting and like individuals. And I don't mean like us in particular, I just mean like everyone growing up becomes more of who they are and grows up to be an interesting person, and we start to value that. And then we just kind of got along better and started getting closer.
Yeah, that's yeah.
What about you
Um,
and your siblings, if you don't mind me asking? Or
I have a
one
little
sister,
sister.
right?
I have a little sister. Yeah, we don't have that close
Mm.
relationship either. I think it's just again it relates back to like seeing my parents, like my relationship with my parents growing up. I just didn't really, um, I guess, take that. I took that experience and I sort of just expressed it. You know what I mean? Like I
Mm.
just sort of developed into this hollow shell of a person that I am, who's apparently can't do friendships because again, like I'm still confused with
So,
like
sorry, you used to be emo? You used to be emo? Oh,
I
yeah.
wouldn't say emo. I'm just cold and calculating. Is that bad? Like, is it
No.
bad to think of friendships as just mutual, like mutual understandings, but with like a mutual understanding of care? Because I care about these friends. I care about my friends, right? But like, if I don't have anything to say to you, or like, I don't want to waste your time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And also, I just want to clarify, just because I feel like I've had I guess, stereotypical close relationships with friends or close relationship with families. I
Mhm.
by no means think that is the only way of showing that you're close. Like, for example, how you are. Obviously, it's different, but it doesn't mean it's any less valuable than like what I have or what someone else has.
'Cause-
But with your case, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, no, go on.
Oh yeah. So I guess with your case, I don't think like you have your own way of doing things, and sure, like I mean, you joke that it sounds cold and calculating, but I can see the merit in that. Like, why, if anything, it would be even more disingenuous to try to fake that small talk or
Right.
fake that
Yeah.
like intermittent conversation.
Yeah. So they said the another thing they said to me was that like you should try to, like they explained like how another friend of them sent them a post or like a Reddit post or something that had something, and they were like, "Hey, can you give me your thoughts on this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I mean, I could do that, but that doesn't feel like me." You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
here's the thing, I could, like check in with you time to time, but if I don't want to genuinely do it, like if I put a schedule on it, it's just going to be as cold and calculating as before, right? And if in fact even more disingenuous. Because knowing me, I would probably if they want me to do that, I'd be more than happy to, if it makes them happy. But at the end of the day, I'm pretty sure I'm just gonna have to like make a schedule for it. Like, I'm gonna put it into my schedule or something, right? Um, but like, here's the thing: if I'm on Facebook and I see a funny meme and I think of you, I will send it, right? Um, but like, you can't expect me to go looking for funny memes about you and then send it to you at like a certain time or like a certain period of time, right?
sorry, this isn't directly related, but internet historians, if they ever go back to the Young Asian Network and listen to what you just said, like,
Mhm.
hot damn, this is such a Gen Z thing to say. This relates back to what you were saying earlier about Gen Z friendships, like
Yeah.
talking about finding something on Reddit, showing your love by tagging them in a meme.
Exactly. Like okay, so my first relationships, like the funniest way to like show my affection was to tag them in memes, right? Like, and then most relationships you could tell they were dating or like somewhere thinging because they were tagging each other and stuff on Facebook, right?
You don't know how many friends have been exposed just from that, or like who they
Exactly.
have a crush on through Facebook. Facebook is actually number one exposer.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
sorry, what were you saying earlier?
Oh,
Oh, with the
yeah,
Gen, yeah,
yeah. Thanks for listening.
yeah. No,
I was
hard relate, yeah.
like, I don't know, like, what do I do? Because like, to like the way they're asking me to sort of um be more genuine feels like it would be ingenuine if I did it, right? Because they're
The
asking me
thing,
to,
yeah.
from what I understand is they're asking me to sort of engage with them more, which I'm more than happy to do. But um, my the way I interact with people is like if I don't have anything to say to you, I don't really want to, like bother you or bother or would I guess in one way it could seem like it would be bothering me if I went out of my way to do it, right? I don't know. Like, does that make me a bad person?
No, it doesn't. No, no, it doesn't. I think
Like,
that what they want, I don't think I don't think they care about like the quality or like the quantity of the memes that you send them. I think they just what they want, that's just the symptom. What they want is to know that you care. And I
okay,
guess I think, and I'm sure that you do, just based on this conversation. I'm sure that you do, but you don't. If you don't really, if there's no reason to like hit them up or if you guys aren't hanging out for a while, I suppose it's they for them they won't know, like they don't have that understanding that you do care.
Right.
And that's why I'm assuming that's why they want you to just do the memes. It's not that they need to see some like dank Reddit posts. I think it's just
Okay.
they think that it's like an easy way, or like an easy, simple way to show that that they're still on your mind or that you care about them. So I honestly I think maybe you could just tell them what you're telling me. Tell them that that this it would feel kind of disingenuous to you and also to them if you were to force this, but that you do care, and maybe try and like arrange to hang out with them if you can more often. Maybe not all the time, but you would have genuine moments with them, and then they'd know that you care.
Right. Yeah, because like I like to do stuff. I don't talk to a lot of my friends very often, like except my close friends. So like I have friends where like sort of I talk to them from time to time, and we talk about certain things only. And I guess I inadvertently put specific labels where like for friends where like uh, what I mean is like like I only talk about certain things, or like I only feel comfortable talking about certain things with certain friends, right?
No, I absolutely get that. Honestly, I think it's the same with me, where I have like, I does this sound familiar to you? Where you have like an inner circle where
Hmm.
there you guys can not talk for months, and you guys are still back to where you were once as
Yeah.
soon as you see each other, and that the people that you want to share things with, the people that you end up wanting to talk to more. And then there's like other friends where it's not that you don't care, it's just you haven't built that rapport with them. It's not as strong of a rapport with them, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that does.
So, yeah. And honestly, I think that the only difference between you and I then is that just I haven't been called out. You were
Mm.
yeah, I just haven't been called out. Like I think that a lot of people feel that way.
Yeah. It's like I do stuff like I ask my friends like if they want something from like Coco or they want something from McDonald's from time to time, and I deliver them for them. And like that's because I'm not a very emotional person. Just putting it out there.
I never would have guessed.
But like
Shocking information.
like my way of giving a hug is a firm, a good firm handshake. Like, that's me.
Hey, we did I wait, did you give me a firm handshake?
I don't remember.
Wait. Wow, am I not even acquaintance? Okay. All
Well,
right.
COVID, you can't handshake, you can't touch each other anymore. Uh,
COVID has saved this friendship.
but yeah, like I do little things, but and like you said, like I have my different way of showing affection, right? And like, is it like I guess should I be like communicating it more to these people like that are sort of confused about it?
Yeah, I think it
Yeah.
wouldn't hurt,
Mhm.
and that if maybe like you communicate, because maybe they feel it's unfair that they feel that they're like strung along, or that you don't care, but then if they expect you to change how you are, it's just
Yeah.
putting the onus on you to change and you to accommodate them. So honestly, I guess all you can really do is just communicate. I'm a big fan of as you can see, I like to talk a lot. Communication is kind of really important to me. So I just communicate how you feel and communicate how you operate. And obviously it's their prerogative if they don't think that they can be fulfilled by this, or they don't think that this is what they want to invest in, then sure, they don't have to stay. But like I think if you let them know that you do in fact care and they believe it, then I don't see why they have a reason to go.
And like I also want to add on like I feel like I'm the type of person to sort of, again, like relating to back to what I said, like I'm not very emotional, right? So like sometimes I feel like, if a friendship isn't working out or if a relationship's too toxic, I'm more than happy to sort of cut them out of my life, to cut that toxic relation out of my life. And I'm not sure if it's, like to me, that just seems like the most efficient and most like logical thing to do, right? Like if something's toxic in your life, something's hurting you, like the obvious choice would be to just sort of, you know, get it out of your life. I'm not sure, like, what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, yeah, obviously, like if something's toxic to you, like if something's just clearly not working for you, and to the point where you think that it's toxic, then no, you're in no obligation to stay and be their sponge. But then again, I know maybe the other party, whether a friend or a partner, doesn't recognize that it's toxic, or maybe they are absolutely fine with the dynamic that's going on, but you aren't. But even if that's the case, no, you have no obligation. You run and don't look back. I mean, okay, you like respectfully end it, I imagine. Like, yeah, just don't ghost, I suppose. But yeah, no, that's
About ghosting too, like, okay, so because I grew up independent, I'm a man of few words, right? Like, I don't like
no, you don't ghost, do you?
I do ghost from and I'm more than I think we'll save that topic for another episode, but like I don't like talking that much. I understand the importance of communication, right? Like I understand, it's important
Yeah.
points across, but like I feel like a lot of conversations and a lot of, discussions or like discourse that, Gen Z kids like engage in, it's a lot of just, uh, it's a lot of just bullshit. Like it doesn't a lot of
Like
people
what?
just sort of beat around the bush. They don't get straight to the point. So like for
Oh.
example, if I'm saying like, if a Gen Z kid feels like one of their friends is doing something that they don't like, they'll sort of engage in an hour-long conversation when that conversation could probably be about like 15 minutes of being like, "Hey, you're doing this. This is wrong. Don't do it." Do you know what I mean? Like
Oh, okay.
I feel like it's just a lot of unnecessary drama. That's where I'm going with this. Not to say that, I'm not saying that just because one person in a relationship feels unfair about it or feels a certain way about it, it doesn't make it invalid, right? It's still valid. But I just feel like when you go about conversations about these things, about emotions especially, it's just so dramatic.
I'm just wondering, would you say that a lot of the friends that you have, like your close friends, that they tend to, I guess, avoid the bullshit like you, or do you think that
We
they
get straight to the
engage, I suppose?
we like to get straight to the point. I think that's like a lot of my close friends. And the reason why I'm close with them, I think, is because we have similar values. We might not act in a certain way because, like, I'm like the most cold and most calculating out of the whole group. Right? Like, I think I care like more as much as they do, but it's just like I don't show it as much, right? That's why I think people think that I'm more cold and calculating is because I don't show it as much, or I don't show it in the more normal way, right?
Yeah, but
Like
I don't know if extra bullshit is inherently a Gen Z thing. Like I don't know if the maybe the previous generations were straight to the point, but I imagine that for as much people who or as many people who like beat around the bush and aren't frank, like you'll find people that are frank and do get to the point and that just you can just choose to be with them, or have you noticed that a lot of your friends or like a lot of the friends that you want to make do beat around the bush and you find yourself like conflicted between conflicted between engaging in that or possible
I think
uh
I may have sort of misled the conversation by focusing a bit too much on sort of the beating around the bush statement, but essentially my issue is sort of I don't know, like I think people nowadays for some reason like kids, especially like young kids, they have like this
the
I
youngins.
the youngins, but they have this idea that friendships are a certain way, and they have to act in a certain way. And so like they go through all this drama and they have to feel like everything is more dramatic than it needs to be, and I just feel like it's all just really tiresome. You know what I mean?
No,
Like,
I get
like,
that.
especially like we're kind of out of high, like we're not that far away from high school, our high school years, but like I don't know what was like it for your school, but in my school almost every day there was some sort of drama, or like every week there was this new drama. So and so fucked so and so, and now that's person B is fucking person A to get back at person C. You know what I mean? Like it just feels like it's just a lot of drama.
I think spilling the tea and like that culture probably has something to do with it. Just
Mhm.
like everyone, I think this is probably like the universal high school experience where everyone
Probably.
wants to be relevant and everyone wants to hear the hot gossip and the spill the tea.
Mhm.
I imagine it's a lot to do with that. And I'm not gonna lie, it is entertaining. I think I've been fortunate enough where I haven't directly been involved, but I got to watch with the popcorn.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, that does sound tiresome. And I think out I haven't experienced that as much in university. I think it's just because it's so large.
Mhm.
But I that's something I guess that I should feel bad about missing that, like, the entertainment, but also it's probably a good thing that I
Um,
no longer have to deal with that.
like I don't know. It might have been that experience of like me growing up in that environment where like I just feel like communication is just hard for me. Might have been my family's like environment too, but like it's just I don't know what to do because like I care about these friends that have this issue with me, and I don't like like disregard their arguments at all. Just because I can't really see it, but like I understand that if they feel that way, it is definitely valid, right? Um,
Yeah.
but like
I'm just wondering, are these friends gonna be watching this podcast? I'm just
yeah,
or listening?
we'll see.
Cut this out if you want.
Like, no, I genuinely care about these friends, right? And I just, like, I think I understand their points, but like, I just don't understand how I can go about, I hesitate to say solving the issue because, it has a bad connotation to it. Connotation. 'Cause
Ah, you're hysterical.
funny. Jokester could. But you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, should I just sort of sit them down and have a conversation with them and just discuss? But like, because I don't know what I would need to discuss. Because like, here's the thing: like, do I engage in that conversation or do I wait for them to engage it with me?
I mean, I suppose you I guess if they've told you to or if they've aired out their grievances with you and you just kind of ignore it until they bring it up again, like that doesn't quite sound like a
Yeah, that doesn't
solution.
quite
So
sound. Great. Okay, yeah, that's
yeah, I mean, I think obviously, well, not obviously. I think it's on you too after they've aired their grievances and explained their side that you explain your side.
fair. Okay.
And I think I have actually had to come to terms with this with like close friends of mine where there's that growing divide, I guess, and that growing disconnect.
Mm,
Or I'm feeling that there's this growing disconnect, and it's probably because of distance. And since we're so far away now, it's difficult to have the same like physical, like as in like being like literally there for each
yeah.
other as well, like and the conversations and hanging out. It's difficult to have that now because of university and circumstances. And I've kind of just had to accept that. So I guess this might be their perspective as opposed to yours, but like it's not on me. Like I shouldn't have to essentially
Mhm.
simp
Okay.
for the other friend.
Yeah.
And I did talk this out, and they said that they it's just that they're different or that they do care. Yeah, that they do care, and I can and I choose to believe that, but if I'm not satisfied with that or if I don't think that there's weight behind those words, we just drift. Like there's there's nothing else. It's either we continue to have a sustainable and like compatible friendship or we just drift, and I guess honestly you just have to be okay with that, or both parties just have to be okay with that.
Mm, okay, that's fair. Yeah, I think so. Would you recommend just like talking to them again, just
Yeah,
about?
like actually, would you mind if I ask how did you respond to them?
I I'm the type of like again, like I'm the type of person to listen, right? So like obviously I listen to them and I sort of try to be objective as possible in the questions that I ask them. Like sort of like could you give me examples of, like what I've been doing, what you've been feeling like I shouldn't be doing, right? And so like trying to get as objective as I can and trying to get as specific as I can, right? Um,
Mm.
and sort of using those specific examples to branch out to the larger picture. So that's what I'm trying to do. And
Yeah, like
I gave one of them a call. I gave both of them a call, but I had a really I've already had like a conversation with one of them, but it doesn't feel like I fully understand how to sort of go about, like being a better friend in their eyes, I suppose.
I mean really it's either one person one person folds to the other, or you, yeah, come to a compromise somewhere in the middle. So either the other party just becomes okay with, I guess, feeling, for lack of a better word, neglected. Like this isn't like a shot on you, just that maybe that's how they're feeling. Either they have to learn to be okay with that.
Mhm.
You have to learn, or you have to learn to be okay with sending them false and fake Reddit posts,
Right.
Reddit and memes or whatever, or just meet halfway, or yeah, meet halfway. But either way, I think it just talk to them.
Okay,
Let them know how you're feeling.
that's fair. All right, yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about because that's been on my mind for a while now. Um,
Oh, actually, can I ask
yeah,
then? How do you find making friends in university? How does that compare to high school for you?
I found it's weird. It's really weird because like in high school again, there's all like this drama, right? Like people think that there's a social class to high school. If you can never understand the highs and lows of high school football. We don't want to talk to you. Um, but in
You speak
university,
as if you weren't the high school president.
uh,
Like, okay.
don't make me. I'm trying to not sound elitist. Come on. Uh, I was in
Okay.
I won the multiculturalism award in my school. I'm just gonna put that out there.
Yeah,
Not to
you're not really helping with sounding down with the working class with the go on, go on. Tell us more. Tell us more. Were you valedictorian too?
no, actually, I didn't sign up because of certain reasons. But anyways, you know what? I might rant about high school valedictorian later in another episode. Or you know what? I don't even think that relates to being young and Asian. I think I don't want to turn this into my personal therapy show. But
You can name that the episode. I'm sure you'll get views. I'm sure. I promise.
well, but in university, it's like because it's not just people who are you're not just in an environment where it's like pretty much the same grade, like same age of kids, right? There are adults,
Yeah.
there are young adults there. Um, some of them have experience, some of them don't. But I think a lot of them or a lot of them relate in the same way in that they want to sort of meet new people. So I found it easier a bit to sort of talk to people, but I find that even though it's easier to talk to people, it's sort of difficult to sort of can make really good friends. You know what I mean? Like really long lasting friendships, the same ones you make in high school.
Yeah. Actually, I'm just also because I came from Toronto, you came from Richmond. They're both like pretty Asian cities, I imagine.
Yeah, pretty.
So how was it going to Ottawa?
It's very white there. Like it's not a
It
bad.
is.
I don't want to sound racist, but it's
No,
very.
no.
Okay, let me change the wording. It's not. It's pretty westernized there.
Yes.
I think that's a better wording for it. I think there's not a lot of. I think I'm kind of glad because the people that can relate to me, like we can make a really good bond, right? Like you and I, like we can kind of relate to each other in a really good way. But like it's a bit difficult for me to sort of relate to different cultures of people. But I like it. I like being able to experience new cultures and talk to new people, meet new perspectives, that sort of thing.
Honestly, for me, I think it's less or maybe like partly it's the whole like before it was a bunch of similar people with similar values before, but also even for my high school, it was pretty sheltered. Like it was very like the drama that you were talking to, I imagine I experienced like a fraction of what it was. Everyone was just kind of chill, very focused on grades. I actually had never been to a house party in my high school. Do you
Really,
know how sad that is?
I
I've never been to a high school house party.
I was the one that organized my house parties. Like my
Oh
philosophy,
wow, okay.
if I can't get invited to them, I might as well just create them.
Yeah, you can't get okay, sorry. Oh, yeah, you can't get invited to them. All right. Trying to still give off the image that you weren't the most popular kid in your school. Okay.
Not the most popular in my school.
Second
Anyways,
most
but
popular.
yeah, what you were
But,
saying?
yeah, no. Oh, by the way, it wasn't because I wasn't unpopular, okay? Actually, popularity wasn't really a concept in my school. It was very much everyone was just kind of doing their own thing.
I heard
Or
school was pretty academic.
oh yeah, it is actually wait, no, that okay. It was it didn't necessarily have popularity like social classes. We didn't have like you mentioned the football team. We didn't have a football team. We had a basketball team, but a basketball team you didn't get cred for being in a sports team. Nah, you
Mm,
got like you. I mean, obviously you have to be an affable person, but grades was more of the social standing. It's more the people who put in effort in school. That was like the baseline for being part of the mainstream. And the people who didn't, the people who obviously like didn't give a fuck, I guess they were in the fringe for our school.
mhm.
So yeah, it wasn't like oh if you got like a 98 you were like the top dog in our school. Nah, you can be a prick and still get a 98. It just I guess that was just more of that was the bare requirement for being part of the mainstream and like fitting in with the majority of people grades.
Yeah.
And it comes with its own like toxic it comes with its own forms of toxic. We weren't free of that, even though we were more of a bubbled, sheltered high school. But yeah, it
Mm.
was different for sure. So that's why, that's part of the reason why going to Ottawa was a lot different, where it was more like normal standards, I suppose, where people didn't really care as much about that, and everyone else had, like, for example, the house parties that apparently I missed out on, and uh, just different standards or like different school culture and environment. So I think that
Right.
less of the Asian and more of that kind of stunted me in university, at least in the beginning.
Yeah, but overall, I think making friends is. I don't know. I wouldn't because it's different now. Now that I feel like like when us Gen Z kids move into university away from high school, it's the term sort of gets I guess mixed in with the idea of networking.
Oh
Um,
my god, the pressure to network.
it is, but well, I think that's another big
Different
topic.
different topic, yeah.
But like I like friendships. I think there are a lot of different friendships. Like I think would you agree to that? Like there's just different types of friendships with different types of people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so yeah. I mean, do you have anything else to ask me about my cold and calculating view on different types of friendships?
Jeez, would you want to be anything different than what you are right now with your friendships?
No.
Like would you imagine it would make it easier?
I don't know if it would make it easier. I think it would be. I think if I were to be more sort of quote unquote emotional in my view of friendships, as most of my other people friends, I feel like it would just be really draining for me. Like I'm alongside being introverted, I just social, action just really takes a toll on me.
Yeah, that's
Um,
fair.
I love watching from the sidelines, hearing about tea, but like, like if you play around with hot tea, you're bound to get it spilled on your face,
Oh wow, you
right?
come up with that yourself?
Yeah, I did actually. I'm gonna put it on a shirt. If you want to buy it, feel free to visit our website. JK, we don't have a website.
Yet.
Yeah, maybe we'll see. But yeah, that's that. Like, I don't think I would change the way I view friendships. I definitely would. I definitely can see how I can change some aspects of how I act towards my friends. Um, but other than that, like I don't think it's unreasonable.
Yeah.
Right. I think everyone's friendship views on friendships are different. They have their own valid view on it, different take on it,
Yeah.
and it's impacted by their own experiences and their own sort of relationship with people. Right.
Yo, actually, you can cut this bit out, but I'm genuinely curious. Why do you think that we ended up becoming friends? Because I know the beginning was weird. Like, or not weird, but
Honestly, I feel like it's just like you vibrate a crackhead energy and I vibrate a different crackhead energy. I think just vibed.
I
Other than that, you were like the only Asian in our class. So
hey,
I was
there
like,
was someone else who was half Asian, okay? You
who?
know? Oh, this. I don't think she's in Papam anymore. Like I think she switched programs, but I remember because I noticed the two other Asians in the room.
Yeah, I mean, we naturally gravitate towards each other. Like if you're looking at a white canvas, you're obviously going to see the yellow spots on it, right?
Yeah. The pea
Exactly.
stains.
So what the fuck?
Cut that out. Cut that out.
I'm not cutting this. Okay, I think we should end the podcast right now. But anything else to say before we end the
Well,
recording?
you're gonna make my last note be like okay.
Yeah. But yeah, anything to say? Got anything last thing to add?
No. I think this was a good conversation, and I'm just gonna hope that everyone forgot the last 2 minutes of that.
Oh well, probably won't. But yeah, yeah. So that's that. That's my issue. Not issue. But thank you for listening.
You're welcome. And by the way, next time you don't have to use the excuse of the podcast. If you
Oh,
need
shut
personal therapy, okay? I'm here for you, all right? All
All right,
right?
thank
I
you.
don't need Reddit posts. I don't need Facebook memes.
All right, fair enough. Thank you for the offer.
All right.
All right, thanks again, Connie.
No problem.